Hi, thanks so much for joining me today. We are talking about Persona Cosmetics. If you'd like to see that, please keep watching. Persona Cosmetics was founded in 2016 by Sona Gasparian. So really, again, excited about that part of it too, because YouTube is, gosh, I'm almost 3 years, 2.5 years into this. So I'm just like on the periphery of this YouTube world. So to see someone like that with so much talent become so successful and have her own company is amazing. Like, I'm just amazed by stories like that. So Persona is also cruelty free, and I know that's important to some of you. So I also really appreciate that they are cruelty free. And so they sent me their bestsellers, and what I like is that they sent me a palette for brown eyes, which I have, and then some other fun things. I did this look today using those products. The first one is the Identity palette. It has this little illustration on the front. It's lightweight because it's a cardboard packaging, and then it has some pretty generous size pans in here. When I first used this, because I've used it a few times at this point, I was like, wow, these were really nice. I didn't really have any expectations for them. So it's up there with any of your luxury brand shadows, if not better than some. Very impressive. So I'm gonna add a little clip here of the swatches of these so you can see, but they are very creamy, as they say. They go on easily, they blend really well. And if you use pigmented shadows before, you know sometimes they can be difficult to blend because they kind of stick and don't move. These blend really easily. I put some of those denser colors in the crease and you'll be able to see those in action. They also sent me 2 lip products. This is a matte lipstick in Holy Grail, which I have on now. So thank goodness they sent me a gloss as well. This one's in Honey, because if I wear a matte lipstick, which is rare, I will put a gloss on top because my lips are just so dry to begin with that I need a gloss. So I have that one as well. Then the last thing they sent me, which is again very generous and I appreciate all of these things, is the Cali Glow highlighter in Zuma, which is very pretty. I love a liquid highlighter, but this, I have to say, is as good as you can get with a powder highlighter. I'm going to take you through this, the step-by-step on how I applied this. So I actually wore this eye makeup in that last Hourglass lip gloss video that I did. So if you're wondering what that was, I tried to replicate it here. And I also used that highlighter too in that video. So if you're wondering what that was, that is this highlighter. So let's go ahead and get started and I'll show you how we got here. So I already have foundation, bronzer, powder, eyebrows. That's it. We're gonna go ahead with the Identity palette, and this one is the ultimate eyeshadow palette for brown eyes. And I played with this a few times. In fact, I put this on for the Hourglass lip gloss video and actually got a request to do this. So I was gonna do it anyway, but I kind of wanted to just make sure I was using them kind of the way that would show them off. So that was a good trial run. So how did I do this yesterday? I'm going to try and just mimic that. I think I went in with Gold Digger first. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so Gold Digger, we're going to go on that on the lid. This is just a Sephora brush. I'm just going to pat that in. So from like the inner corner to about 2/3. Then I'm going to go in with Goddess right on the outer third. I'm just patting. I was surprised at how easily these applied and how intense they were. Next, I'm going to go in with Bossy on just the very outer corner and under the lash line. I'm going to bring that down pretty far, I mean further than I normally would, because I'm going to go in with some other things in a little bit here. Mostly just patting it in except for the bottom there. Just want to get these in the right place. Then I went in with Sassy right on the inner corner. I can't remember what brush I used, but I'm just going to use my finger because it's the most accurate when I get in this area right here. And that's what we're going to do first. I'm going to go into the crease now. I took Audacious, this beautiful like burnt sienna color, and I just patted that into the crease area. So I'm going to do that. Same brush, I'm just going to clean it off. I just want to place that and pat it in. I find when the pigments are intense like this, patting it in first helps, and then I will blend it out if I go in with a fluffy brush, I can't control it as well. I'm going to take a Ray Morris fluffy brush and just blend that out. Just concentrating on the edges here. Really easy to blend these. Again, that can be trickier when the pigment is as intense as it is. Sometimes they don't move as well. Really trying to follow this line of the eyebrow up till this arch to give it that lift. There's just a little bit of fallout with the Bossy, so in an ideal world, you would want to do your eye makeup first before putting any foundation on. Okay, let's go in with Chic. It's that plummy color right in the corner here. And actually, let me get a different brush. I love this Schumer brush because it's got this precise side on it. It came with a palette, but I use this a lot. I'm going to bring this into the crease just in the slightest, right up here. So I've got that purpley color and that burnt sienna color right up against each other here in the crease. Just being careful not to swish them together too much or else it just becomes like a brownish color. Okay, now I'm going to do some eyeliner, and you know what happens when I do that. Everything transforms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the Tom Ford liner. I'm going to tight line. I'm also going to put some eyeliner in the waterline, and I'll be right back. And back with, like I said, makes a big difference. I say that every time, but I am surprised myself at how much of a difference it makes. So again, I just tight lined with the It Cosmetics. I'm just using this because I bought it and I need to use it up, the No-Tug in black. I went in on the waterline with two colors because I'm using that plummy color. So I did go in with my go-to Midnight in Paris, Marc Jacobs, but then I went over it with another Marc Jacobs, and this one is matte. It's in Grapevine. So I have this on first and then I just went over it with the Grapevine. I've used Grapevine before in the past, but it's too purple on its own, so I just wanted it to suggest purple rather than be, it would be more purple than the plum color, and it would, I think, stand out too much. So that's why I layered them, and then I just put mascara on. So there we are with that. I'm not done yet though. There's still more to do. I did this before mascara the last time, but I'm just going to do it after because I didn't want you to miss this step. So I'm going in with Fearless, the dark brown color. It is really soft and really intense, really pigmented. So I'm going to use that to just line the bottom close to the lash line on top of all that other stuff. I'm putting it right on top here of the other shadows, but really focusing it as close to the lash line as possible, and then kind of making it go a little bit lower down here. So starting from the half point here, it's gradually getting wider, this from here to here, and then it tapers off here. So slight difference, and I'm going to bring it up to, okay, there's a little bit of fallout here, so just be careful. It is soft. And I'm going around the edges of this wing because you know how I love to soften that wing and not have it so graphic, but it just helps define that. Then I'm going to take my Schumer brush. I'm going to tap it in Fearless again, just gently. I'm going to place it here and then run it towards the middle of my eye, but not too far, just enough to fade that in. It does go into the crease a bit as well, and that's okay because it gives that uplifted look to the eye. And I'm going to blend that in a second. Really, I just rotate it like this, really, really short distance. So taking that Ray Morris brush again, just going to buff that edge really, really gently. I don't want to extend it too far this way down or it's going to be downturned, so I'm trying to just keep it here. So there's the difference you can see between just adding a little bit here and blending it in. It gives a lifted look to it, but you can't really tell that I put that much more on. And plus I think it blends this in really nicely. Okay, so I'm just gonna repeat. I just tap this really lightly in here like this. Light. You get that intensity over there as well. Now I did lose a little bit of that plummy color in that whole operation. So I'm gonna add a little bit more back in. I'm gonna clean the edge of this end of the brush. I'm gonna clean it and go back in with Chic. And I'm gonna take that again right into that corner, just so I still wanna see that purple a little bit. I love to try out lots of colors together as long as they are coordinated in some way. I think a lot of these you could just most of these you could just do a single shadow look and it would look pretty. And then I'm gonna go in with that Sassy again, just right here. I think I got a little lost. Oh yeah, I remember what I did now too. I took a little bit of this pink color in Humble. I took it on the fluffy brush and I just patted it under the brow bone like this, just to soften that edge again. Okay, now that's looking pretty good. I might go back and fix it along the way, but that's how I like my eyeliner. I like it defined, but I don't like it too harsh on the end. So this is in Holy Grail. It's a matte lipstick. It smells like a cupcake. Or maybe vanilla? I don't know what that is. It's not so strong though. This is tricky because it's a matte. Sometimes I prefer it to go all the way to the corners here, and then it looks funny when I talk. That is some red. I'm not a particularly huge fan of liquid lipsticks, but I will give this a try. But that's how it dries down. If you're looking for a matte liquid lipstick, this is a matte, like what you would expect of a matte liquid lip. So they also sent me a lip gloss, which is good because that's normally how, if I'm gonna wear a matte, I'll put a gloss over it. So this is in Honey. Actually, let me just pat that on because I'm gonna end up making this gloss a different color if I go directly onto the lipstick. I mean, the gloss in here is going to change if I use the wand. Okay, that's pretty dramatic. Even though I'm used to bright lips these days, that's beautiful, but just, it's dramatic. Now we're going to go in with the highlighter. So I also wore this in that video and I thought it was so pretty when I was watching the playback, when I was editing it. I thought it looked really pretty. So let's go in with this highlighter. This is in Zuma, so pretty. So I'm going to use my Kevyn Aucoin brush. Now this fan brush is humongous, but let's just go in with it. I'll go in really lightly. And I know I've said before that powders can bring out texture or wrinkles or whatever you want to call it. So I do have some fine lines here, just expression lines. So compared to other powders, this one does a really nice job of not enhancing that. If you want intense highlighter, this brush, this will do it. Okay, I think I did this too. Now that I'm thinking about it, I took the Zuma and I think I put that in the inner corner as well. I'm so unplanned when I do my makeup. I mean, I have a certain idea, but it kind of evolves into something on its own, something I didn't predict, just based on how it's going. And creative things like that, yeah, I'm like that creatively with other things when it comes to cooking. I don't really use recipes. I kind of have an end vision in mind, but I don't pre-plan things too much. So to go back and remember is kind of tricky. Okay, so I want to add it down my nose, but I need to use something else. I'm going to use a more fine fan brush. It's a Cala, but it's nice and small. And when I highlight, I know some people don't like to do this, but I do this mainly for the structure of my nose because my nose is so small that it needs some dimension. And you see how it even looks kind of wide there? So what I do is I take my concealer, no I don't, I take my contour pen, this Smashbox one, which is so old but still works really well. So I do contour after I highlight because the highlighter is a little bit harder to control to get it to a more narrow kind of line. Otherwise it just makes my nose look wide. Yeah, I've had pictures before where I just have like 2 nostrils at the bottom because you can't see my nose. And then I'll powder just to kind of blend everything in. And that is the final look. So again, I can't say enough about the shadow. If you're gonna buy one thing from Persona and you have brown eyes, get this. It just is so versatile too. I tried to use as many colors as I could, which is what I try to do when I am featuring a palette, because otherwise I would make a series of videos on one palette. So I used Humble, Sassy, Gold Digger, Goddess, Audacious, Chic, Bossy, and Fearless. So there were only a few that I didn't use in here, and the ones that I used are all just beautiful. I have nothing bad to say about this. If you are looking for an all-in-one eye palette, it doesn't have a black, so that's the only thing it doesn't have, but otherwise all these colors are very suited for brown eyes. So I'm really happy to have this. The next thing is this highlighter. So again, I love my Charlotte Tilbury liquid highlighter, but if you're gonna go for a powder, this one is about as finely milled as I've seen. Again, luxury level or not, it just is very finely milled. So I'm not surprised that's a bestseller either. And this is easy to do when they send me bestsellers, because they're bestsellers for a reason, that people are buying them because they love them. So I'm not surprised I love them too. And then the lip products. So this is a little bit tricky to use. So if you're not comfortable with red, I might not start here because it's not very forgiving when you add it on. So you have to have some kind of practice with it in order to get it in the right places, because this is difficult to clean up if you mess it up like I almost messed up over here. So just know that it's gonna take practice if you want this one. This is beautiful though, honey. I see myself putting this on just straight on my lips and then also over, and you can see it kind of softened the, what's the word I'm looking for? It was kind of edgier, I want to say, without lip gloss on. So it kind of took that edge off and made it a little bit softer to put this gloss on. And I'm not finding lipstick on my teeth. Now, I did start, oh, my favorites video, I started with lip gloss. I did start with lipstick on, but it wasn't this, it was this gloss, but I had a different lipstick underneath, which I can't even remember what it is right now. Something. But the combination that I had ended up messy and all over the place. With this, I don't have any lipstick on my teeth. I've been talking for a little while, so yeah, not having transfer there. So again, thank you so much, Persona Cosmetics, for sending me these things so I could share them with viewers and let them know how great your products are. Again, this is my 100% honest review impressions of these products. I would not recommend something to you if I would not use it myself. So I will definitely be using these and this, and maybe not this as much, just because it's a matte lipstick and it's not my favorite formula anyway. But yeah, but these, you'll be seeing me use these quite frequently, and this is a really great travel item too because it's lightweight and it's kind of all in one. So I might be packing that as my travel eyeshadow because there are so many opportunities and so many looks that you can do with that one palette. So if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. I haven't really tried this yet. Oh, and I had a little towel. Where'd it go? Moisturize it, and I want to remove that somehow. Oh, there's my eyelash curler.